What is it about Tuscany that has us coming back here as often as our bank balance allows us? Italy is a remarkable country, we all know that, and there are places like Sicily and Puglia becoming very popular now, and Rome is my city. But here I am in Tuscany, and it's wonderful. Is it Florence, with its palaces, built in great blocks of pepper-coloured stone? Or the surrounding hilltops crowned with charming villages that we all like to visit? What is it about Tuscany? Well, there are better people than I that have rattled on about that. But of course the English have been coming here since the 18th century. And then in the 60s and 70s the Germans became fatally attracted to the place as well. There's lots of foreigners here, and those that can afford it from other parts of Italy actually buy holiday homes here, particularly along the coast. But Tuscany for me comes into its own when the crowds of summer have left and the sky darkens, the temperature drops, the wind blows a little bit, and in rolls winter. I love Tuscany in the winter. And it's not just because places that you want to visit are far less crowded. And it's not because you can park the car without any problem. It's what Tuscany becomes. It's mysterious. It's ethereal. It's incredibly physical. But walk along a country lane in December in Tuscany and look about you. Look at the colours. Look at the trees, some with foliage, others without. And look up at the sky and you'll see almost constable-like cloudscapes. And they move. And they move from one valley to the next. Carry an umbrella with you because as sure as eggs it will rain. And then stumble across a little osteria or trattoria in some little village. And the attraction for me is the smell of wood smoke. That's a tempting invite that I can't refuse. And you wander in and you say hello to a few people, a few local yokels perhaps. The owner greets you, happy to have the trade. And you sit down and the magic of Tuscany in winter begins to unfold, because for me, in winter, here in Tuscany, is when you eat, really eat, the great plates that make this region so addictive to so many visitors. In the winter, you sit down to the big hearty soups that are the staple of any Tuscan meal and enjoy them because it's freezing outside. It's a joy, it's a delight, and those big flavors that burst into your mouth are made even more exciting because it's cold outside. You might be tempted to have a roast. You might be tempted to have the bistecca fiorentina if you can afford it. But with all that comes the joy of opening a bottle of Tuscan Red. And I'm not talking about the big noisy Brunellos or the expensive Super Tuscans, but if you can afford it, why not? I'm talking about the local red wine, and it comes to you sometimes in a terracotta barack or sometimes in an unmarked bottle. More often than not though, it is well worth drinking, and it just adds to the magic. And of course outside, at this point in time, if you live where I do, some 800 meters above sea level, come late December, early January, that wine is almost a necessity because it snows outside. And whilst we all delight in the summer photographs, country lanes, dusty dirt roads, cypress line, etc., 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 Tuscany is freezing in the winter, but when you open a door and walk inside, Tuscany is inviting in the winter. Tuscany is real for me in the winter. And I think that's when you actually meet Tuscans, be them from Siena or Florence, Arezzo, or any number of the smaller villages scattered around the bigger cities. They're all worth visiting, and yet I'm surprised that many more of those visitors don't discover this great region during the quiet, mysterious, moody months of winter, because I can tell you, the secrets that are here reveal themselves in those cold months. So hey, open up that red wine, pour a glass, and I'll just give that soup a little stir. Sprinkle of Parmigiano on top, a drizzle of local olive oil over the top, and here's to you.